What's up, people? I'm here to talk about tomorrow's game. We're about 16 hours away from kickoff, approximately, and it's tough to really get excited for a game like this. We just had that huge win over San Francisco last week, a possible season-defining victory, the kind of victory that can make you feel real good about where you are as a team. And the week after, you're a little hungover. You're like, okay, we did all that great stuff last week, especially on defense. We played a great game against San Francisco, but just the emotions, the energy you put into that game, just in general, a night game. So you look at the next week game and you play the almost consensus pick for worst team in the league right now. I mean, you look at Jacksonville. Um, they're torn between two different quarterbacks. They can play this superior Chad Henne, which they are doing, or they can play the inferior but younger and more interesting Blaine Gabbert. I think they're not going to have MJD back. They're not going to have Mercedes Lewis back, and he was probably their biggest pass-catching threat until they get Justin Blackmon back. They might get him back this week, actually. I can't remember if his suspension was 2 games or 4. But that's just a team that can't score. I mean, they've scored 1 touchdown this year, and it was in almost garbage time against Oakland. So that's all pretty damning stuff. That is a team that really just doesn't have anything going for it. With the Raiders, you can say, oh, they've got Terrell Pryor. Maybe he'll be something. With a team like Cleveland, now that they traded Trent Richardson, maybe you could say them, but I kind of like the Browns' defense to be a little better than you might expect. Maybe there's some things there to get excited about. But Jacksonville, there's just really nothing to get excited about. And as a team that has very high expectations this year, going out to play them at home after they travel 3,000 plus miles to get up here, it's tough to really get excited about the game. So what I'll say is that, A, got to avoid the trap game. That's a concern because right now, we think we're the best team in the league. We might not be as good as Denver, but we think we are, and we think we at least have a claim to being the best team in the league right now, and we do. However, when you're talking about stuff like that, going up against the worst team in the league, do you take it easy? Do you slack off a little too much, and do bad things start to happen? So obviously we have to make sure that we do enough to win, but saying that, I want to bring in that whole idea of doing just enough to win, because that's what I kind of expect tomorrow. I think this Seahawks team will do just enough to win and not too much more. So I know people are going to be watching this game to see if we can win by 80 points or whatever, and I'm sure we could, but there's no reason to do that. So after what happened last week, looking at what we can expect the rest of this season, looking at some of the problems this team has right now, like losing Russell Okung for about half the rest of the regular season, I think that we're going to go out there, get on top by 10, 14 points, and then we're just going to kind of run the clock out as much as you can at early points in the games. We're going to use clock. We're going to take it easy. We don't want to embarrass Gus Bradley, who was a great guy and a great coordinator for us up here for a few years. And there's just no point in beating a team by 80. I'm sure we could do it, but I don't think it's going to happen. So to those of you looking at Seahawks and Jacksonville, and you look at that line and it's 20.5 points or whatever, think about that one a little bit. I don't think it's going to happen. I think it will happen. If it does happen, it will happen because of a defensive or special teams touchdown at the end of the game. But I don't see us doing any more than what we need to do to win and win comfortably. I'm looking at this game, I'm thinking maybe a 24-10 kind of game, maybe 17-3. I just think we're going to kind of have that little bit of a hangover from last week, and then eventually we'll make sure that the team shows up long enough to win. But tough to get excited about tomorrow. So hopefully there's some other good games on. Hopefully some other cool things happen. And yeah, everybody just get ready for that. see you guys after the game. I'll make a post-game video, whatever happens, just to talk about stuff. But I am preparing myself for the better teams of the AFC South because we have some interesting ones coming up. So, see you guys later.